mailbag@breakingglassshow.com. Mailbag@breakingglass.show. Mailbag@breakingglass.show.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Here for another week of Breaking Glass. It's a podcast about glass blowing by glass blowers, and we talk about current affairs, and we drink.
Yeah.
So, cheers.
Cheers.
My name's Kevin Beecher.
And I'm Josh Mazzette.
And here we go. What are we drinking today?
One of our favorites, the old Moscow Mule.
Yeah, well, just ginger beer and vodka.
Good ginger beer, a little bit of lime, and some vodka.
We were going to do rum and cokes, but all I had was this stuff my wife brought, which is like LaCroix.
Yeah, LaCroix Cola.
I poured them out and made them for us, and so you take a drink. It's clear for one, but it literally tastes like the end of a soda cup after you drink all the drink out of it from like McDonald's or something.
Yeah, just like the air wafting out of an old Coca-Cola can, just added with a little bit of water. So yeah, it was really terrible. So we forced it down. And now we've had a couple more drinks since then, so we kind of got a little bit juiced. Even though our goal was to have like a little bit earlier episode in the day, we find that we're a little bit more productive, maybe.
Yeah. So we're trying to bang these out for you and keep it regular. So we have nonstop content. Our producer's on our ass, so he's always busting the whip. And
I'm representing the canvasback duck again. We got these sweet vintage cocktail cups that Kevin has, and
I never keep track of mine. But I got the partridge.
Totally.
So that makes sense because it's always Christmas, so partridge in a pear tree.
Absolutely.
Makes a lot of sense there. So this week, we did our last podcast, dropped Friday. A lot of stuff's happened in our stuff since then, so we're going to get into all that. But, for one, starting off with the shows, we're watching Star Trek or Star Wars. That Mandalorian, they've really been falling off. They're entertaining, but they could almost just make it like a... To me, you watch a show back in the day where take Knight Rider or MacGyver, where each week they just do a different thing and it never really goes anywhere. It's just one episode, 1 week. Yeah. Kind of like that. They could almost do that with this.
Unfortunately, it kind of has that feel because there is this one little thread of a storyline that's floating over everything, but the past 3 episodes have just been filler, kind of mid-season stuff. They've got 2 more left, and they're probably going to leave us with some type of cliffhanger. I don't know if I was talking about this last time, but...
Yeah. I don't know.
But basically, every episode is they kind of are standalone episodes in their own way.
You keep thinking something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Which this week, it had a lot of actors this week that were big actors that were in other things.
Totally. Well, again, the whole season has had these really cool actors kind of pop up in time. Yeah,
Bill Burr was the big one this week, I think. Well, the one guy from Sons of Anarchy, but
and Clancy Brown, the guy for the first villain in the original Highlander movie. There can only be one.
Oh, and the chick from Game of Thrones. So there was a ton of people in it.
Thrones, yeah.
But just Bill Burr, like you said, he's not a great actor.
He's not a good actor, and I think Bill would actually, I'm almost surprised that he's doing it. I think he just probably wanted to be in Star Wars because he doesn't really do a lot of acting. I think he'd be the first one to say that, you're good at something and then you should stick to it. And he's I'm sure he doesn't think much of comedians that come over to do, or much of actors that come over to do stand-up. And I think likewise, there's not a ton. There are some good examples of stand-ups that become actors.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever going to be one of them.
Yeah, he had a cool gun that popped off his back.
Totally, he was a cool.
What I didn't like, I thought it was funny, is when they first get on the ship and they're fighting those robots and they're all hiding behind a thing can't shoot the robots, and then the Mandalorian comes out, kills all the robots. Yeah. But then 5 minutes later, he just walks around a corner and kills 5 robots.
And just
Bill Burr is before he can't shoot them at all, and then he just shoots out 5 at one time.
Yeah. I have to admit, I'm kind of my whole like of it is waning. At the initial first episodes, it's just cool because it's starting and you're just kind of hyped on the nostalgia of it. But I have to admit, if it wasn't Star Wars, I don't know that I'd still even be watching it because it's definitely kind of it's a little clean too. It's it lacks substance. I know it has to be a TV show, but you are holding up the legacy of that franchise, and it's just too clean and a little polished. It's And even when there is dirt, it just seems too placed. Like you could just see the person like, oh, we need some more dirt here, and it's really just not doing it for me. And I'm gonna keep watching it because I just love to be critical of it and stuff. And
that's what we do. We basically
we
critique
just watch
stuff all day long.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Hellboy. You didn't watch it yet. And
Yeah.
you're gonna have to watch it because you might even like it. I don't know. I personally
haven't
just
heard
thought
anything good
it was
about
cheese.
it.
I
Yeah.
mean, the original ones were great. I think they really destroyed something that was original.
Yeah.
You know, they did it no justice. Too much CGI and stuff that didn't look cool.
Yeah.
And so,
Man, CGI it's even though like there was this peak CGI, there's so much like blowback on it now, and I'm totally with them. It's when it's done right and you don't notice it, that's when it's amazing. But people are there's not as much practical effects. But actually, right now, I think you're seeing. You are seeing more shows trying to do more practical effects.
well, I even saw we talked about The Irishman already, but the CGI in that with like the gunshots and the bullets and like the blood spatter, it didn't look great. I mean, it just like it looked stupid. I don't know.
Especially in that one too, when you obviously have a director that has a history of like being able to pull off gunshot scenes and things like that. So yeah, CGI has got to. I mean, it's unlike most technology, it has its place, but it's not always the best solution. And there's so much to good practical effects. And I will say that for Star Wars, they actually haven't had a ton of CGI in The Mandalorian, which I'm glad. I mean, Yoda's probably the most CGI'd part of it. And other than that, it is a lot of, kind of practical stuff. But again, it also brings it down a level in terms of like the action and the intensity of it, because it is all stuff that's like, oh yeah, they're just in a hallway rolling around and he picked up a robot and threw it down. There's no,
well, they got to pick it up. That's all I got to say. They need to pick up the program. I guess the new Star Wars movie comes out this Friday. So
yeah, actually,
what?
Breaking news, comes out Wednesday.
Oh, does it?
I don't know why Disney had this weird schedule. They've had the schedule for The Mandalorian out for a few months, and for some reason, the second to last episode comes out on the 17th, which is tomorrow, or no, 2 days from now. And I don't know why, but that's the plan. And then the second one will come out the following Wednesday.
Well, maybe they're trying to do it before they don't. I know why.
Why?
Because their movie comes out Friday.
Oh,
They don't want to intersect. They want to make sure that doesn't drop. They don't want people staying home Friday night.
Staying home Friday night for that.
That's it right there.
Huh, good.
Goddamn conspiracy shit.
And to juice up your week, get people excited. But I'll tell you, I just don't. I would predict right now that show is just gonna leave us with some bullshit hanger where we're all like, oh no, is he gonna get Baby Yoda back or some bullshit like that? And if it's a baby, if they're separated at the end of the season and it's just him like looking out as some ship flies off, it's gonna be a big fuck you to everybody.
I can't believe they haven't taken his helmet off.
So
yet.
it would be incredibly predictable. So it better be more than just some type of season finale that keeps everybody on for. I mean,
they should at least put some kind of like, fucked up like weird shower scene and really show him at least like taking a shower. Maybe not show his face, but like how's he like that dude has to stink.
I still think it's funny. Like I still want to believe that Pedro Pascal just made this best contract and gave him his name, and he's not doing all that bullshit and wearing a mask.
He might not.
I mean, how? Yeah, it's how ridiculous. I mean, he's a good actor.
It's
so, yeah, so to just have a mask entire, and again, if the climax of the season is him taking his fucking helmet off, I will be disappointed. That would be like
it just ends.
Unsatisfying.
Show's over, folks. Nothing else
they
to see.
fly off and he takes his helmet off and it goes under his arm and it's like, I'll get you, baby Yoda. I don't know. It's there's so many ways we can still be disappointed. And I will say that even though they have been killing people, it still has this very tame violence.
Well, yeah, they killed that guard this week, but then everybody else lived. Everybody else was in the in the cage at the end. Well, he did blow up that thing at the end, so I guess, but they don't show any of that.
Yeah, again, that's what I'm saying. It's like this very, very weak, diluted violence. Not that I'm an advocate for violence, but if there's again a little bit more grit to it, I think it would have some more potential. Yeah. I've been thinking about this a little bit lately. It's been bothering me.
Fucking Disney screwing everything up.
Well, that's no surprise. I mean, yeah, it's fucking Disney. We'll see what they'll do.
So what else do we talk about here?
I mean, we got it on the list there if we want to talk. It's a big swing to go from The Mandalorian to The Morning Show. But we just might be able to pull that off.
Oh, we can plug that a little bit. That's actually my favorite show.
Honestly, of all this and all the new media that's come out in the past couple months, I think The Morning Show is my favorite show too.
Very well written.
It's just well written, and we're both we're not gonna segue into politics, but we both are kind of political. So the whole story kind of is about it. It references this kind of the moment when the Me Too situation was started with Matt Lauer, and this one is like it's somewhat just running a parallel story to like Matt Lauer getting kicked out of there, and there obviously just being a history of negligence and people having a closed blind eye to this guy. And that's what this show's doing. It's getting deep with it. I want to know the source. I want to feel like this was a producer that worked on that. It was like, I'm going to tell this story that these assholes kept down. I'll pretend it's a fiction, but it just has...
I'm waiting to see the movie about the Hallmark commercial coming out.
Yeah, right.
It's probably going to make a movie about that. You're like, oh my God, it was the end of time.
Yeah, but again, morning show's been really, really good. It's been one of the better shows. And we did have another episode of The Servant went on again.
I just don't know where to go with that.
Yeah, it's still a mystery. It's just kind of short every week, and because it keeps it brief, I think I'm not as insulted too. It's like, oh, you're just teasing me along. It's just like, all right, that's fine.
It's weird
because it is that's the one thing about. At first, I didn't like it about The Servant.
I got nothing on it. I don't know where they're going.
I don't either.
I don't know.
It's actually a great spot to be in because I feel like I end up trying to predict shows, and this one I just don't know. And I have to, and I'll give it off to Shyamalan because of that, because I actually kind of make fun. I always make fun of him at this point because it's always him and the twist, that classic robot chicken twist.
Well, every episode's a twist. It's like, you totally thought one thing, like that. The Splinter thing is really freaking me out. Like, where the hell's that coming from?
I know. The whole thing. I can't wait to see it. That one's another one. I think if there's no question between the Apple, if you're going to sign up, if you're trying to bring some, one of the new services into your studio, if it's between Apple and Disney, I would definitely say go Apple for original content, and then if you just want to have the whole collection of Disney and Star Wars, you can go the Disney way. But the original content coming out on Apple's really good. And that said, I've also been watching another show that's on Apple that's just came out, and it's called The Truth Be Told, and it's a murder kind of a murder thriller that's going on, and it stars Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. It's awesome. It's about a podcaster actually that who realizes that 20 years ago that her journalistic work put this kid in jail, and 20 years later she realizes, I think I was wrong, and so she's trying to work with their family to get this guy out of jail, and they hate her. And because they're like, you're the one that made this all so bad. And she's like, no, but maybe I can get him out. And it's just this totally conniving little crime thriller that's
a cool story.
Really good. We might have to throw it on. I'd watch it again in the shop. But it's about 5 episodes in. And it's really good. And it focuses on the podcaster. I don't know her name, but she was in the Numbers movie about the Black female scientists for NASA and stuff. She's really good. And so it focuses on her family. Her dad's a biker, owns a bar in San Francisco, and she's only just recently come back. Anyway, it's
Apple's been
good.
stepping it up.
Yeah,
I think right now, just so you know, I think what Hulu, Disney, you can get Hulu, Disney, and National Geographic for $13-14 a month. Wow, they're doing a package deal right now. Yeah, so that's not bad.
Well, National Geographic's part of the whole Disney thing anyway. So it's if you got Disney, if you could get a deal on Disney and Hulu, because again, Hulu has great original stuff going on too. We started that Reprisal. We won't jump into that because we haven't finished that yet. But
we got a couple good things.
Yeah, a couple good things going on. But anyway, so hopefully you filled your media appetite for the week.
We like shows.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about. I don't know what discrimination with glass blind.
Okay, yeah. So we've been trying to come up with just some topics of conversation, and you can call them questions or topics of conversation. And one of the topics that got thrown out, I don't think it's really in the form of a question, but it was just this idea of discrimination of glassblowers. And like anything, I think discrimination comes in a bunch of different flavors. And so what I think most of the time when you think discrimination is the very at the top is racial discrimination.
Well, I can remember at the beginning, when I first started blowing glass, I was going to Salem Community College every year for their flame working conference. Yeah. And a lot of those guys, even Stankard and people like that, they were he'd look at your pen at me oh, Boro? Oh, you lose points for that. He kind of looked down because we were using Boro instead of soft glass, and they just thought, soft glass is so much harder to work with, which it is definitely for the torch. It's really tricky to work with. Yeah. And I was, when we talk about discrimination with glass blowers, that's kind of my first thought. So
is Boro the Boro versus soft glass?
And if you think of big soft glass workers, they kind of look down at Boro a lot of times at the beginning. They're because they think, you have to have a furnace and you have to have all these crazy tools and you have a team of people, and they always kind of look down. I always got that when I'd go to the early gas conferences and Corning 2000, stuff like that, and I'd show up as a flame worker, but most of those people are there because they're soft glass workers.
Well, gas for specific?
Oh, yeah,
well,
what
for
it
sure.
was.
Gas is built around.
Yeah,
the
but
soft glass
nowadays,
industry.
it's really
Nowadays gas is weak, and like we went to that one in Virginia, and it's like their hall of vendors was just. I mean, after going to like where the board. I mean, it's funny. The pendulum has swung.
Yeah, I think so.
For a perfect example of that, of course, is the Corning Museum of Art, and that next week that they're going to be having, or this week they're going to be getting the first
Thursday
pipe. The first contemporary pipe in a major museum collection was the claim I read today online. And I have to admit, I wanted to take a minute to look that up because I was like, I don't know if that's the
well, I don't know if it was the first in any museum. It was the first for Corning.
Yeah, well, I read it online today. I was very specific when I read it. And the claim from the person I read was that this is the first contemporary pipe going into a major museum collection. So I'd be curious to see if that's the truth. I actually doubt it, but if it is, again, hats off to the artist, not to the museum.
Yeah, like I said,
But there has but actually that really talk about that's the greatest discrimination of all was that the modern art movement. I mean, and so like again, the discrimination of glassblowers, we're going to take that personally and say it's borosilicate lamp workers, and the most discrimination that's has gone on or has been from gallery owners and museums and places like that have continually placed our art as like in a marginal place. But now with the value that it sells at for the best pieces and things like that, they have no
the pipe. Well, I mean,
they can't ignore it. And so then a place like
you can look at people
bringing
like
in a pipe. And
Robert Mickelson.
I'm holding them on the hook for that.
He would make pipes. Now all he does is make pipes.
Oh, that's where the
shift,
money is.
Yeah, that's the shift.
I mean, I've only heard like the rumor and the talk about how Mickelson was particularly down on pipe makers. But you know him a little bit better. What can you say about
I've just
that?
been around him. I remember. I can remember at AGIs.
You guys had to hide your pipes until the end of the night and stuff like that.
We didn't really have to hide them, but like we'd ask him. I remember him doing his like demo, and we're yelling out. I'd be like, "Oh, make a pipe." He's like, "I won't ever make a pipe." It's like,
oh, really?
Saying stuff like that. And then 10 years later,
that would be the best thing to have on a camera. I wish we all had cell phones then.
Back then, there was no cell phones. We had them, but they were shitty.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, so I mean, I always look at things like that where that's discrimination. All the older heads, they were the ones who were really looking down on the
Again, Mylon Towne's another great example here. That guy is killing at the Boston. He's going to wholesale shows, killing. His work can be found in galleries all over the country. And then he has the nerve to come to Eugene to show his little book that he'd put together that was how to make a living without making pipes. What a joke.
He actually
the
had
amount of ego to do that. What?
He had the book there?
Oh yeah, he brought it there and he presented it to the crowd. It was a joke. I
remember him telling me that when the first times at the Salem thing, that had to have been like 15 years ago or something. Probably 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember showing up there and, all the who's and who's of flame working was there that weren't pipe makers, all the big guys like Mickelson, Townsend, Emilio, all those guys. And, I'm standing there talking to like 4 or 5 kids and they're just bullshitting whatever, and all of a sudden like Mickelson or Mylon walks up to me. He always knows me. He always acts like, I don't know your name, but he's always, what's your name again? But I've seen him like every year and, he just never acknowledges it. And he walks up and was just like, hey man, how you doing? And I'm like, good. He's like, you still making stuff? And I was like, yeah. He's like, maybe you want to get my new book. He's just like, how to be a successful glassblower without making pipes.
Oh my gosh.
And he walked away and then all these kids were like, who the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And because they didn't know him. And I was like, it's Mylon Townsend. They were like, no way. Thinking it was like crazy shit. I was like, yeah, he's a...
And that's exactly what always upsets me is that so many of the people came in with this just unrequited respect for these guys because granted he'd put out the book and things like that, but the reality was that somebody like Mylon Townsend didn't give a shit about all those guys. He thought what they were doing was wrong. He would have pushed them in a different direction, and now those guys are some of the most cutting edge contemporary artists that are out there.
The ones that took classes from him?
The ones that took classes from him, the ones that bought his book, the ones that idolized him 10-15 years ago, he would have taken a dump on them.
Yeah, I have his book,
Right?
One of his first books. And
Mickelson would have done the same thing, it sounds like.
He would have
been
one
the
book
same
with all the
thing. And now
pictures.
he is working with all of those guys, and I have to admit, I want to see some acknowledgement of that from institutions like Corning, and I want to see it from Mickelson, where they say, you know what, we've made a mistake. And come out with something, because otherwise it's just going to look like they just went where the money was.
That's all they did do.
Well, that's what and what I'm asking for is for them to come forward and give us a different reason.
Mickelson makes some of the dopest pieces around, but he ain't smoking out of them.
Oh, I don't know. I guess he's not.
I've never seen.
He's more of a drinker like us. So yeah. It's again and that's the hypocrisy. Like he'll sit there and drink with you all night, and he'll get a buzz going, but then what? Like be down on weed smokers, and then I don't know. Again, balls in your court, Robert. Where's the message that's saying like, hey, you know what? I've reevaluated this. Why not an article? Everybody's so happy to be writing articles for years. I've seen his name and Mylan's name on a million articles and books. Where's the one that comes out and says like, you know what? We're looking at this again. I think So yeah, discrimination and glassblowing. That was that's a prime example of it, and something that's it's a little out of date now again because everybody's in step with the pipe movement now.
Yeah, so, I believe so.
And now it's so saturated,
It's so saturated.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Everywhere.
So we'll table the discussion on racial discrimination of glassblowers for another time. So
you're gonna go country to country then?
No. I mean, it was just I don't think you. I know you didn't catch it, but earlier I said, "Oh, let's talk about the race," and you just jumped into soft glass versus Boro, and I thought it was hilarious. I hope you did too.
Well, that's kind of where I that's when I think about it. That's like the discrimination. Now, I do believe there's discrimination with like, you're going to get these big guys and you're going to get the little guys, and then you're going to get the, them kind of.
Oh yeah, that's
down.
the other one. That's
you see
a huge
lot
one.
of that
like,
discrimination.
That's again like we have this like ego thing in glass, and it probably it exists in.
It exists in everything,
areas,
but I mean, I think glass blowing has it
are
almost weighs heavy.
So many velvet ropes, and I just think they're the new, this is your water fountain sign. It's just like, nope, you're on this side, we're on that side, and there's just like this division and this like.
Same even with galleries. I see it with galleries where like they only want to buy certain people's work, they don't want to buy other people's work.
You mean like head shops,
like head shops, galleries, and you see a lot of that favoritism.
I'm going to discriminate the head shops and not call them galleries.
Okay,
but they're discriminatory too. It's like they want to build on the hype. That's a hard thing to. That's a tough line. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? Buy the stuff that's not popular?
Well, some of these
some of these people, sense of like
I can think some of these people, some of these collectors, they make the artist who they are. I look at I hear the stories about.
But I think a collector deserves that. If a collector can actually make an artist happen, then good
they
on
always
you.
tell the stories. I always heard in the marble shows like they would say like Brian made Mike Gong from buying all his work and pushing his work.
Well, and in a way he did. Like, see, I never realized that, but I have heard that in that sense, and it's true.
I don't know the whole story.
It just makes for
stories,
it just makes for a 1% and a lot of 99% bitter marble makers.
Yeah,
So. But yeah, no, it used to be like when Brian would buy something from you, you're like, sweet, and you just kept that. You just hoped that he kept buying, but then he would elevate it. I mean, the thing that was cool, I think what was interesting, and I could be wrong, and I'd be happy to be corrected, but someone would have to send something to our mailbag, and that is that Brian bought Mike's work, and then I think the way it worked out is that he put the price on the work. So that was the thing that was a game changer. I don't know that Mike was the one that ever said, oh, I'm going to make my marbles this price now. I think it was the fact that he had somebody who was going to buy his work and sell it for that price point that led Mike, and not the other way. I think Brian made Mike in a big way because he said, these marbles...
I need that. I need somebody to buy our work and price it, and then we just give us twice as much as what we want.
Totally, that's what you want. Wait, that's it again. Brian saw a value in that, and I'll give hats off to Brian because he saw something there and he went with it. And again, he probably had. I wish I could have been inside his mind at that time. He probably had two artists there. I'm not going to make a name for the other one, but he probably had Mike and somebody else, and Mike may not have been the name recognition that this guy had over here, and he supported everyone, but I could have easily saw him make a decision in his mind like, shit, this guy's work is just as good as his. I'll buy his and I'll sell it for his. He might have just made somewhere. He may not be able to even consciously acknowledge that in the past, but that might be the reason that Mike did, because I was at some of the most early Marvel shows with Mike, and he wasn't the big name artist at those shows. There were three other guys. Yeah. And for some reason, and their work would have been more, they wouldn't have probably been giving Brian the same price to deal. I mean, it's a good chance that he saw Mike's work, recognized something in it, and then elevated it to his contemporaries, to the people that he considered. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I like it. Well, anyway, we can move on from that. Let's do a little plug for our show.
Yeah, let's do it.
We got to talk about that. We're going to get some more content on here, so hoping we get you guys to send us some more questions. Well, I guess the best thing for us would be hit us on the website at breakingglass.show. Instagram, Breaking Glass Podcast. Well, I guess Breaking_Glass_ podcast. And then Facebook at Breaking Glass Show, all one word. Yeah, get those questions out to us. And, if you have a tool you want us to review or something like that, we'd like to get into that.
And if you are going to send us some questions to the mailbag, it was mailbag@breakingglassshow.com. Nope.
We're never going to get it.
Yeah. Well, I do, but we're going to, there'll be something here. It'll have our mailbag address. Red will have it up for you. Mailbag, breakingglass.show. Yeah, mailbag. You should be mic'd up right now.
Yeah, for real.
Mailbag at breakingglass.show. So, yeah, send us some questions. Ask us about something we've already talked about today.
And we're going to have we'll probably put some more posts up. We still have some giveaways going. So by the time this comes out, I'm sure Aaron's will still be going off. So you have a chance to win his thing.
Yep. So. Yeah, we'll be posting a giveaway for Aaron today. Actually, why don't you send it in the mailbag too? Send us a show that you think we should watch, and then I will be really critical of it. And because I'll be like, I would love that though. Send us some shows that you think we should watch, and we'll tell you what we think. And it maybe just alone we won't watch them, but we'll tell you like, oh, that was a terrible idea. We think that'd be funny. So,
all right. We're gonna move into Tool of the Week.
Tool of the Week.
And this week we just thought it'd be something cool to do. Is we're gonna basically give a shout out to holding fingers. It's one of those a holding finger tool. It's basically a universal tool. Everybody uses these for everything. There's a bunch of different styles of them, and we just feel there's a bunch of different companies. Which I don't have. I'd like to give Griffin a plug because I saw his new ones recently, and that'd be my next one I'm gonna get when I see him next. I'll pick one up. I keep forgetting the last time I got him, but he makes ones like this that are more of holding cups and stuff. And they can do inside and outside. These tools are great. This one particularly is a Carlisle, which is my favorite one that I have personally because it's just so heavy duty made. They do make quality tools.
Oh, yeah, they're more inclined to overbuild their tools versus like this one, which is just a very low end version of that.
Well, just a little set screw on it. Really gets stuck real easy. This one has like a nice one.
Made in China. That one in your right hand.
This one, yeah. And then I don't like the handles like this. I prefer an all metal handle. If I could get.
Why?
Just because I just like it because this stuff always gets it can burn up. You stick stuff to it, and it smokes. And
I think an all metal one would be nice for counterweight because
they do make ones with counterweights.
I know they make counterweights, but the point being the handle itself, like the whole handle being metal, only gives it more counterweight because here you are with it with no counterweight. So it is nice that a whole metal handle will be a counterweight.
Well, so going back, so this one, one like this is made specifically just to do like feet or just grabbing something, but it just for the outside, so you hold from the outside. This one you can do stick something on the inside, and you can stick it on the inside of a cup. And open it up and then hold the cup from the inside. So it's really nice.
You can grab the outer lip or inner lip, basically. With
the Griffin ones he's using some new sort of steel. He said he's buying like some like double. I forget how he said it was made, but it's basically like really really high tension steel.
To what benefit?
He says it really holds its memory.
Huh, interesting.
And they're really kind of almost lightweight, but he has a counterweight option you can put on the back of them, which I really like.
So what makes? I know you've been talking about it, but what makes for it? Because I don't use these a lot. There's no I've always been, if anything, I've been opposed to these because one, I don't do a lot of hollow work, and then for solid work, I don't like the idea of. I've always been one of those people. I don't want metal touching.
You go one like this. This is Christmas.
What makes a good one is the question.
Well, like I said, I look for something like this. Like you said, it's the metal bends really easy, and if you use it a long time, it starts really deteriorating, and it'll start getting weird shaped. So if I'm trying to hold a foot for a wine glass. In the metal, if you have one that's bad, it'll hold it crooked. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So ones like this last a lot longer, and you can put, and plus it's real heavy duty built, so I can put a huge cup on the end of this thing and lock it in. It'll hold it nice and solid. These little cheap ones don't do it so well. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely about the metal and the steel they use. I know Matascookie makes a really nice one that everybody likes.
I think he's kind of famous for making a really nice one.
Really his are real big and springy, and they're really great for goblets. That's what his are mainly for, is making.
Well, they seem real effortless again because they're just the weight and the balance of his.
And one like this is made specifically.
That's an old one, right?
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if you got that.
Well, this is more of an Italian. No, this is my buddy Mike's. So this is more like an Italian one they use to make foot. So it's just the whole feet. So you just put your foot on there and spring it down and lock it in, and it holds a wine glass foot really nice.
Pretty limited on width, though. I mean, definitely.
Yeah, you can't make a huge foot. It's mainly for just basic stem wear.
Yeah,
like
again,
nice,
that
nice
seems
wine
nice.
glasses.
Good weight. Again, probably wouldn't be.
But there's a huge variety of these things. If you're going to get into glass blowing, if you're getting into it, you're going to start realizing you're going to need these things. I mean, right now I've made over probably 120, 130 Christmas ornaments this month, and every one I use, I mean, I bust those things out like really fast. So without this tool, I mean, to try to put them in this would hold it, but these just make it so nice for a perfectly round Christmas ornament.
Yeah.
So this is actually a great tool if you're getting into glass blowing and you want to start off with something simple. You know, just
Well, those are great for holding round objects.
yes, and they're cheap. I mean, they're like $50.
If I was going to get my first one, I would definitely go with one of these because you can grab round objects and still use it for feet.
And what I
You can use
never
it for
liked
a
about
certain
these is I could
spoon.
never understand was this stupid thing in here.
Yeah.
They always put that middle wire in there.
I have several pairs, but I never use them. They look as new as the day I bought them, and I bought them over 10 years ago.
Well, here's one of the like you can see none of these have them. This one has it on. See that little plastic knob? Almost. I have 10 pairs of these.
Oh,
things.
yeah. They're
And
laying on
all the little knobs melt off of them. Always.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they'd ever use plastic knobs on a tool that you're holding really hot stuff. That's why Carlisle was always smart and they put. You know, they just these are built
again.
really well.
They have a tendency to overbuild things.
These are
and this is a
$100.
good example of a tool that can be overbuilt and not have it be a detriment to function. I think.
But if you have the money, like I said, I wouldn't steer clear. I think Griffin's new ones are selling for like 150.
Griffin glass
and
tools.
Skookies are probably like 250 or something like that.
Yep, Mataskookie signed tool.
But he does small batch. He doesn't build like Griffin.
Yeah.
Like Griffin has a company and he's building lots
It's
of
an
tools.
artisan tool.
Yes.
And it's the name recognition. But yeah, Griffin's putting out a good quality project that's definitely very attainable.
Well,
for
I will be
everybody,
picking
I
a
think.
set of his up probably if I see him at Las Vegas or someplace. The next place I see him, I want to buy a pair.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to Griffin.
So yeah. So again, if you're doing hollow work and stuff like that, that does seem kind of like a necessary tool to have at some point. But
And like you said, you don't use them a lot, but
I don't. Yeah.
if you're getting into goblets or vessels,
the one that people seem to be so excited about that looks so awkward and uncomfortable to me are those Herbie ones because they're ones. Here you go. The whole idea I would think to be counterweighted, and these things have these like big sheet metal pieces on there.
you're spring loaded, and then they squeeze the
pinch,
glass so hard. And I see people making rigs all the time with them.
People love them.
I never use metal on my rigs when I'm finishing them because I'm afraid I'm gonna like shock it.
So
I always use
that's the tool, and a lot of those major artists are using that.
But I also see a lot of people like broken videos. You always see people like, oh, I broke this piece last night. And it's like I think they have too much tension on.
Oh, they look to me they look terrible. But
I think they would be nice for goblets, feet. They seem like they would be quick.
They look really. I just think they look terrible for
too.
goblets. Oh yeah, they are expensive. All the Herbert Arnold stuff is.
Yeah, I would like to get a pair, but it's one of those things. I always think about it, and I never pull the trigger because $250 for the small pair.
They just look so awkward, and they look totally weighted wrong.
Well,
I mean, you're putting so much. I mean, they're not counterweighted. They maybe.
Well, I think you can buy. They have counterweights you can put onto them.
I don't like the look of them at all. But again, that's when I walk around, that's what I see in a lot of big artists.
A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of artists that.
Yeah, they scare me.
That's what they choose to go with,
maybe it's just because can't conform to it. You know, I just never. I've had these kind so long, and then I see people and like I've never even used them.
Yeah.
I've played with them quite a few times, thinking like I'm gonna buy a pair, and then for some reason in my head like I don't need these things.
Yeah.
I just end up buying another pair of these. So anyway, so coming up
that's
here,
the tool of the week.
We're coming up on Christmas quick. This is coming up like 10 days or something like that.
Well, about 9 days. Where it's the 16th today. Yeah.
And then after that, starting now actually, we need to go into heavy court grind mode. Get ready for this Las Vegas show.
Yeah, we do.
It's
I do not have the enthusiasm I need to do that right now, but yeah, we need to get on it and start making some
There's
stuff.
so much going to happen. We have to get our tickets for that.
Yeah.
We need to.
Build
you got to call them. And get the
crate.
rooms,
We got to
make sure
build
our rooms
another
booked.
crate, Red, just so get excited.
No, we got to build a
See
smaller
the day
one.
before it has to ship.
Smaller though. Last year we built a crate to go out there, and
before.
this is something that I could say anybody attending Las Vegas. A lot of people came up and asked us about it. Like, how'd you do that? I'm like, just build a crate. I mean, even Mickelson came up. He's like, man, that's the way to go.
I have to admit, after I've
2
been
or 3
doing
years
Vegas
of
shows
carrying
for
shit
10
in.
years.
You park in the parking lot?
I most always drive, though. So, I mean, I have that advantage of coming from Oregon. I would never ship coming from Oregon. I can drive. But it was so easy. And the load in and load out from your vehicle is always a pain in the ass. But when you just load it in that box and you just kind of
show up, and the box was
fucking
sitting at
sweet.
our booth, and like we just rolled in, and like it's just sitting in the middle of our booth. We just uncrated it, all of our shit's in there. So basically, we built a box. I think it was 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot in that area, 4 foot by 3 foot by 4 foot. It was pretty big. It was way bigger than we needed. It was like twice as big as what we actually needed. And we were
still
just
didn't
throwing
bring tables.
everything
We had
and
plenty of
anything.
room, but we didn't bring a table.
Well, we were throwing everything in there at the end. We were just dumb shit we didn't even need.
Yeah.
And
Beer got warm.
we still had 2 feet at the top of this box. We could have just threw shit in if we needed to. So it definitely cost I don't know. It ended up being like $750, $800 to ship it both ways. It was like $400 each way.
Yeah.
So I think we could cut that in half with weight because it all goes by weight. So this year we need to build a new box. And, we got to start working on our booth. We need to get some banners. We have to make sure we get
we talked about getting some banners and things like
all
that.
that stuff for the melt booth. And
what do you think? I don't know. But as far as the show itself, what do you think? When we go to Las Vegas, luckily they're not. It's the thing that's nice about that show. It's not like the just total, just over the top glass booths, vape pen booths that have so much. I mean, it's very much artist booths. It's low level. It's usually all the rooms we've been in so far not all of them would support massive structures and stuff like that.
Well,
but what do you think is going to make you stand out at Las Vegas?
Well, that's one thing real quick. I mean, it's in a new venue.
So we don't know. A new venue, so
I've
we
never
don't know
been.
what the room would like. It might be a bit larger convention hall.
It's at Bally's?
Yeah, Bally's.
So it's going to be right on the Strip this year, which I'm not sure what to expect. I don't think I've even been to Bally's in Vegas. I can't remember.
I've been to the buffet there, and yeah, I've been there a couple times because it has this crazy walkway up to it. It's like if you feel like you're on the Buck Rogers set when you're at.
Well,
Bally's.
I say that'll be a plus. We talked about it before. How's it going to be at the Westgate where it was last year? The last couple years, everybody's centralized. Westgate's kind of out of town. There's nothing around there really within walking distance. So everybody kind of just hung out there, or you had to leave and drive. Here, you're going to be able to walk right out on the Strip and go wherever you want. Mm-hmm. So the food options are going to immediately improve because the food at the Westgate.
Yeah, the Westgate food has definitely been disappointing, even though I'm bummed because I just found a place next to it that does these Korean tacos. I was so excited about going back, and I was going to get you guys all into it, and they have this amazing food, and it just happened to be across the street, and somehow we didn't know about it. Fat Choi, if you're ever in Vegas, they've got 2 locations. Fat Choi, it's delicious Korean fusion work. But there'll be better food options, but it just means more walking too. That's the one thing about the Westgate, because we were just all in one hotel. You don't put as many steps on your body, but if you're on the Strip, from my experience, you end up doing a ton more walking.
I'm going to have to rent one of them little scooters this year.
Yeah. Ooh, maybe that is something.
You're like, fuck it, everybody else does it. That's one thing. Well,
maybe
last year,
this is a year for a scooter.
Well, at least they got
idea.
smart at the actual show, because the first 2 years, people just went hog wild in those scooters.
Oh,
and they were just riding up and down the aisles, running people out of the way, and just really getting out of control with it.
It is. It's just too much.
Well, this last year, they actually had a scooting area in the front. You had to park. You weren't allowed to take the scooter into the place
aisles.
unless you were physically handicapped.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, I don't know. But it would be nice to have that to ride up and down the Strip on.
Well, it's definitely tempting. That's something to think about. And the thing is, if you buy them, and just as this is a tip for all of you guys, and if you want to get in on with us, like say Justin and Lucky or something, you can rent them in bulk.
Yeah.
And you get a better deal. So
it's like $250 a scooter or something like that?
No, it can be way less than that. If we got 5 of them, we'd get a better deal because it would be like a single drop off and pickup. And because we've done this before, and it might be time to bring the scooter back. I'm kind of thinking. My brother had one last year because he fucked up his ankle the day before.
I mean,
I borrowed it a couple times.
When you got to walk across that fucking place.
Oh my god, dude! I used it at the Westgate last year.
I mean, it's a good quarter mile, half mile walk. Some of those places you got to walk to your room.
I'll tell you what, though,
sucks.
You feel like such a fucking idiot when you're in the elevator on
In
one
a
of those.
scooter?
You're just drunk as fuck, and you're sitting there on your scooter, and then the next thing you know, like 4 senior citizens are in your elevator, and you're just like this dude sitting in this scooter, like
swaying back and forth. Oh, you'll see people passed out sitting in them. I think last year our buddy Barry got his stolen, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe.
And he had to pay like $2,000 or something like that.
I've heard some horror stories about that.
He stole his battery or something, and they charged him some crazy security deposit.
That sucks.
So yeah, definitely the scooter might be a good idea. The box, shipping your crate. Look into getting your crate.
Yeah, if you're going with a good amount of stuff and coming from a distance, that crate is definitely worth it.
Like I said, if you have to park in the parking lot and shuttle all your shit in, I mean, that one day me and you had to carry all the stuff in your truck, and it was just like we were carrying as much as we could on one trip. Dude, that was a lot of walking.
Yeah, I don't know.
From the back of there into there.
Yeah, I don't remember. And just only because I've done it so many fucking times, they all blur into one painful experience. But you should bring a cart. I mean, usually I'm a little smarter. I have a cart, so I don't know why we were carrying stuff. If anything, that was dumb not to have a cart. Even though sometimes the Teamsters they don't allow you to use a cart. It's like they'll let you hand load, but you can't use a cart.
Well, they'll do that in Atlantic City.
Well, they'll do that in Vegas.
At the Champs show when I was there, like that's when Griffin told me, he's like, make sure you get a cart, bring a cart. So what the trick is, like if they're actually checking you and they're really watching you, you have to, you take your stuff to the door, carry it in the door, and then walk out and carry the cart in. Like you can't wheel it through the threshold. Like, they have like these weird little rules there.
It's just dumb little things.
But I always tell everybody that's a big thing. Bring a cart.
In fact, and that would be my other. I mean, I don't know this for sure, but honestly, if you are going to Las Vegas this year, that's a big switch up to go from the Westgate to Bali. And I would expect that their rules will be a lot more strict when it comes to union fees and stuff like that. The Westgate's just happy to have a convention probably take place there because it's such an old place, and it's just.
Well, if they were happy, I think it'd still be there. I think they were happy about it.
Everybody gets rid of the pot convention.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, they always are going to push it. I don't know why Westgate would. I mean, again, they needed the money, but they were not happy about all the big parties and stuff like that. And I mean, if anything, it was terrible there last year. It was so toxic from all that brass cleaning that they were doing.
Was that last year?
Was it? Yeah, whatever year.
Yeah, that one year they were cleaning all the banisters, like and all like the railing everywhere. It was all copper, and they were ripping out stuff and carpets and using all the solvents. And like we're out there partying, and then we're right in the bar, and they're all around us. And I mean, everybody was coughing and sneezing. And it was bad.
Terrible.
Like I said, we should have actually reached out. We probably could have got some free shit out of it.
Probably. Yeah, I would definitely take note this year of Bali. We'll see how it goes. I think being on the Strip is a little bit more prime real estate, and you're going to incur a little bit more. They're going to try to tax you a little bit more, and that's something.
Everything's going to be more expensive.
Everything's a little bit more expensive on the Strip. So I mean, God, I can't imagine they could make those ultras cost anymore. But
they're gonna have all the events going, I guess, in different spots. I wonder if they're going to be like the parties and stuff like they had the Millie meetup and.
Yeah,
I don't know if Baller's going to have his party again.
Oh man, we should. Again, we're going to do a Las Vegas episode coming up in the next couple of weeks, and what we'll do is we'll run down a list of all the events and stuff coming up and talk about it. We need to get a little bit better understanding about what's going to be offered there this year.
You can give her a call and talk to her and ask her.
Yeah, we'll talk to. I'll give a call to Amy. We'll talk to her, and then on every single one of their posts, which of course that's the only. If I only had one thing to say, it's like, oh my God, Las Vegas, could you post just maybe a little less?
Even on Twitter.
Sometimes I open up my Instagram page and it's like 10 posts that I have to thumb through to just get to like some organic post.
It's funny because like I'm probably the only person that comments on Twitter on theirs because they don't really have probably a huge Twitter following.
There's not a huge Glass Twitter scene.
There's not at all.
Yeah, well, that's there.
Oh, a little, it's slight, but I'm saying they post all the time.
Showboat's had an account forever.
But I mean, I'm always the only person that ever likes their comments. So
yeah, I don't know.
You're gonna have, like I said, your brother's gonna do the book release.
Yep, we'll releasing volume 2 of the Contemporary Shot Glass.
I'm sure we'll
be reviewing that on the. It's gonna be held at La Francis Studio, and then we'll also be doing a showing of the American of Pipetown.
There.
Yeah, so we're gonna have we'll do the book signing, and then we're gonna have the movie running too for people. And then of course during the week of the week of Las Vegas, they'll have a special viewing area for Pipetown and stuff. But yeah, the book sign will be at La Francis Studios.
Do you know where that's at? Is that
it's in North Las Vegas? And we'll get some information and stuff for people as we get closer to it. We can make some announcements.
Big place.
Both going to
hold a lot of people.
Yeah, totally. I mean, who knows? Maybe that actually might be a great opportunity for us to do a podcast there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get my brother on. That'd be a great. Well, he'll be busy, but we'll fix it. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, yeah, that might be a great opportunity for us to get something going on.
We'll line something up for Las Vegas. We'll try to do like one a day while we're out there in the room.
Yep. And but yeah, so lot going on this year at Las Vegas. I just haven't been bitten yet by the excitement of it.
I'm actually, like I said, I told you, I like going. I have fun when I'm there, but I am not excited.
Yeah,
this year is going to be a lot different than every other year because it's at a different place for one. But I mean, I thought the show usually started Monday. It was usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Well, it's like Monday night, then Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it was over.
And then now it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, again, it's a change of venue. Everything's
what sucks for me
and
is...
again, I don't want to talk shit about Champs, but all this, if Champs and these guys could just work something fucking out, we could have Champs going on in one building.
Yeah.
We could have this show going on. All the stores could come and save money by not having to make 2 trips to Vegas. If we could just get these guys on the same page, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
And you don't.
What makes it hard because we can't just. I just want to fly home from Vegas and then fly back out there a week later just to go to Champs.
Oh yeah, me neither. And I would love to go. But if Champs runs for so many extra days that if they could just overlap it, Champs would also still have 2 days where they were free and clear of another trade show. And again, if those guys would team up, then that would really put the hurt on Glassroots, because we're not big fans of them here at the show. And again, we'll happily have a conversation with them about it if they want to talk about it. But yeah, I would love to see those guys team up, put those shows on so they overlapped, let all the stores come in, buy from one show, go to the other show. The people that make big money, like if you're an actual production shop, you might end up having to pay for a booth at each show. But you would definitely slide the cost over to those guys instead of the entire industry.
Yeah, the first year of Las Vegas, they had Champs there. I like that. I liked how they had that overflow come in there the first day. And
Champs, after that year, Champs did some hard-ass work, because it is not easy to change your dates in Vegas. And I can tell you, Champs pulled some strings to get their dates changed so that Las Vegas couldn't overlap. So it's just tough. I actually I support Champs, and obviously I'm totally a Las Vegas guy. So I just wish it's just like we're all spending a lot of money that we could be saving, and we could also be benefiting from everybody being there at the same time.
It's definitely harder on the artist.
It's hard on the artist.
I mean, for the actual event, even for the shows, but I mean, it's definitely harder on us because, like I said, we have to travel all that time.
Yeah.
I don't know. And this year, it sucks because, normally after Las Vegas, we pack our shit up and then we hang out that night.
Yeah, it's nice to have, yeah.
This year, boom, right after the show's over. As soon as the show's over, probably by that time, 10 o'clock at night, they're on a plane to come home because Friday morning, got to wake up and do a local hometown Ice Fest.
Ice Fest, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm really not looking forward to that.
Am I supposed to go down there and do that with you?
I gotta have it all set up and ready to go.
I couldn't tell. It sounded like that was something I didn't know. But yeah. Well, honestly, what I would like to do, and we're just going to talk about this on air with you guys. But I think I'm going to, whenever we get our tickets, I'm definitely going at least 2 days early.
So go like Saturday.
Yeah, because my brother's already going to be there.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I think we should get there a day early, like chill, have a good day.
Why usually get there Sunday?
Well, I want to get there at least a day before Sunday.
Well, the show doesn't start till Tuesday.
Great. I just want to go there because the book signing will be Monday.
Yeah.
And so I want to get there a day and get there, get our party out, be ready for the show.
That's the problem. You say get the party out, but then the party just keeps going and going.
Honestly, and again, why don't we go a day early and get some more podcasts going for these guys? If we went a day early, I can schedule. Maybe we'll get Jason Harris on.
Yeah, he'd be a good one.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah, I didn't go to his shop the last time. I was hungover. That's the problem.
Dude, yeah.
You stay up drinking all night. You just don't want to do that.
So anyway, I know this is stuff that doesn't totally pertain to all of you guys, but we're thinking about you. Maybe we'll go and maybe we'll try to get to Vegas a little bit early, do some stuff on the ground. We can do a tour of Vegas. We can go.
We got to start looking into some tickets and stuff. We'll get all that. Anyway.
Yeah. So we
next?
have a giveaway for this week. We talked about it last night. Why don't you go ahead and tell these people what it is?
I don't know what it is.
I don't remember.
Oh, you told me. You said it was going to be. You're going to have something special.
Did I say that?
Yeah, that's why it's all the question marks. So that we're a giveaway, and then you're like, I'll come up with something special.
We're going to give away a breaking glass pendant.
Okay.
Yeah. So this week we'll be making a post. You guys keep following. The password is, give us a crazy password, Red.
Sandbox.
All right. And I'm going to be making a post on this is because one of the things about the giveaways, you guys, we're doing giveaways every week, and we're not just doing this for fun. We want to have some, what do they call that? It's an exchange, interaction with you guys. So the way that you are going to be able to take part, and some people might be smart enough, they'll latch onto it. I'm going to make about the post about the giveaway, and everybody who comments in the post Sandbox are entered into the giveaway, and you're going to win a breaking glass pendant made by me and my buddy Darren. And so that's the competition this week. And password Sandbox in the comments. And I'm not going to mention it in the post. And that's all. We just want more people that are authentically watching the show. And in fact, actually, should I make it should it be a melt one or a breaking glass one?
It doesn't matter. It's up to you.
We'll do. I have some really nice melt ones that made would be a good example. Yeah, you're gonna get a sweet pendant. It's either gonna be a melt pendant or a breaking glass one. We'll decide.
You let them pick.
Yeah, we'll let you pick. It'll be a breaking glass or a melt one. And then, that's gonna be the thing. Sandbox. That'll be the competition. And so, that feels good because I'm tired of these people that are just winning that probably aren't the true listeners like you guys.
Yeah, just so you know, we actually don't know the girl's name, but she never claimed her package from the YouTube thing. So
watch that Junkie episode. The winner was announced. It's an over $100 value for sure, plus shipping, etc. So so and little caveat at we'll give it away again if somebody doesn't answer that by mid-January. We're gonna run that stuff again. So yeah,
sweet.
Yeah.
Well, we did last week's episode, and it's kind of nuts. We did that last Thursday. I think it dropped Friday. Today's Monday. So we were talking about the Boro news, and, we had Aaron on, and we were talking about all the stuff, and we kind of thought it was crazy. And then the last episode that day, they were making fun of Dan Bilzerian and all that kind of stuff. Well, later that night, sure enough, we're sitting here playing cards, getting ready to watch Thursday Night Football or whatever, and Josh goes, dude, he's like, I can't log on to the page.
Hey, Brad.
And I was just like, well, what the shit? I don't know. I can't either. And we kept looking. Basically, the whole page was taken down. So we thought it'd be kind of crazy. This is kind of a follow-up episode, to talk about what happened there, because something crazy happened.
And basically the feeling is, because I don't think you hammered that nail hard enough, was that the last post on the Boro News page was explicitly giving a send up to Dan Bilzerian or whatever the fuck his name is. And the feeling is, or what we think's in the water, is that guy with his 26 million Instagram followers, possibly, and who knows, for all we know, he's an investor in Instagram, may have pulled some, people are, the idea is that maybe he pulled strings to get this taken off. And I'm really on the fence about it, because my gut tells me, I don't know, he's going to get me a beer, and he just went outside. But anyway, my gut tells me that a guy that has 10 strippers around him constantly, just over on a boat at Phuket or wherever the fuck
some crazy country,
that he has the time or even the wherewithal to be like, oh, well, that little tiny 10,000 follower page made fun of me, so I'm gonna call the CEO of.
He probably took offense to it. I mean,
but why? How does he even?
You got to think it probably. Aware of that? I mean, it kind of threatens in his head. He probably thinks it threatens his business so directly that because he has his own weed company, Ignite, and they basically fully called him out on that, saying his weed sucking, he can smoke his own weed and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I could take it as a personal attack at his business. He could. I mean, who knows the reasons? But what other reason would they have to take that thing down? I mean, it's just gone. Now they have a backup page called the Boro News 2, which there's no content. Last night you saw on their story that it just says stand by.
It just said stand by for breaking news.
So they have to be. So
if you guys were, in case for some reason you're not, Boro News 2 is their backup account. So go show them support.
And hopefully they start doing some stuff. Yeah. I have to think that it's the Dan Bilzerian thing, though. I mean, I don't know what else possibly. How could he post that day, and then by that night it's off? I just cannot conceive that even with a crew of people. I mean, is he that's what he has time to take down? I'm amazed if that's the case, and super disappointed. But that said, we've talked shit about Dan before on this episode, and that's when he shut down the Millie party at the Westgate last year. And again, that's a little bit, maybe it's hyperbole, maybe it's rumor, but that's what kind of got back around us, is that he had that, the Millie party was going in the Elvis suite. He had the adjoining suite on that floor. And that party was out of control. And so then he bitched and had the party closed down early. And that's basically, again, I hate to be sitting here talking about rumors, but we all know that Dan was in the building that day, that he had that suite next door. So it's it's incredible to think. And he's worth $150 million. Yeah. So I'm not trying to side with the guy. I just want to believe that he has better things to be doing. I mean, I just don't think you could. That post came up, and there was a lot of comments really quick, and there was people on there tagging left and right. I mean, he was being tagged in it constantly. I'm sure he probably has a guy that just works his social media page. I mean, just looking at things. And just quick thing though, if anybody has a screenshot of the article from Boro News, or has somehow copied it, please send it to me. I need a copy of that Dan Bilzerian Boro News post on Instagram, and just because if it is the case that
somehow Dan had something to do with this. I truly want us all to like stand up and do something about it. I've got a couple ideas. I just think there's something. If somehow Instagram really caved into this guy, then I think we need to, as a group, say like that's total.
Or it'd be
bullshit.
nice just to get. I mean, there again, by tonight, the Boro News could have another story up and they could explain everything.
Yeah.
It could have been something else. Who knows? I just don't see. I've never seen a page just get wiped out like that. It's just.
Oh no, but you hear about people. Well, again,
you hear people lose their accounts.
Well, yeah, people lose their accounts all the time. You'll always see it. Like it'll be one of the hot little cam girls that are like, "Oh, I got my second account. My account got deleted. Why'd you guys report me?" And so like another thing that came out of this conversation is that Instagram just keeps implementing rule after rule after rule that will ultimately allow them to take away somebody's account no matter what. And maybe that's really their end game, is that what they want to do is, I mean, like, because that's the thing, like a lot of us value our Instagram accounts. I mean, if, these guys, I mean, we all sell from our Instagram accounts, things like that. And if they can just take that away, it's actually kind of a shitty thing. Since it was, we all ate the Kool-Aid and it was given to us for free. So, I mean, I really resent that idea, but at the same time, I guess it's their fucking business. They own it.
Well, Boro News, you guys probably aren't hearing this, but I mean, we want you got to get the new page up and going. And if we just need to know the story. They had explain that too. I mean, that's
that's the thing. Like, did they get? I mean, they would have got one of those bullshit because that's the thing. That's the cowardice of a corporation. They're just going to send you some bullshit form letter with like 3 sentences that say you have violated the account agreement that you made with us, and we are discontinuing your account. That's nothing. There's going to be zero recourse. There's going to be no way to go back. That's the thing. That's in the face of a corporation. There's no recourse.
A couple of the comments on like Dan's post was just basically like, cease and desist incoming. People were saying like, get ready for the cease and desist letters, and all that kind of stuff. And
there are plenty of examples of that happening in our industry. But usually it's when you're ripping off like a form or a shape to like see somebody just have an article that is like, that's like The Onion. Yeah. Getting taken offline. I mean, again, that's where I still stand by the fact that I think the Boro News is comedic roast, not toxic sludge, and that they deserve a place. And they weren't doing anything outrageous. It wasn't obscene.
They were jokes.
So again, I think if it's Dan, then you're totally a fucking coward, and really that's a bitch move.
That was a total bitch move.
And I want to believe I would say get a life, but you fucking put your life on Instagram. It's fucking incredible. And that's what you're doing, is taking down a little thing that pokes some fun at you. If you don't know,
at least you got your face wiped by a
trolls and people that are against the status quo. And so we're going to poke fun and make fun of shit. So I
think in the long run, it would make like a resistance against him and his products.
I hope so. Well, nobody's going to turn. He already has a resistance.
Well, nobody's going to turn down if he's trying to buy a $40,000 pipe. Nobody's going to turn that down. But I think it'd be a resistance to people not wanting to smoke his shitty weed. And
oh no! But again, none of us are going to smoke his fucking weed.
Yeah.
His weed is for the mass consumer, the masses, and those masses are not following Boro News. That Boro News was like. No, again, like even like we tried to talk to Red about it, and he's like, he doesn't get it. And the reason he doesn't get it is because he's not caught up in the glass game in the level of like what artist does what and those things. Like it was such a like select group that thing was really for. That's why I think, honestly, I mean, yeah, obviously the Dan Brazilian one is saying it's very implicit. It's about you. It's above everybody's head unless you're a part of it.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. And that said, like, it makes me wonder about the Dan Brazilian article, because there, in a lot of those articles, I can confirm a lot of those little jokes and pokes were truth.
Yeah.
And so, like, if he actually took a torch to a fucking email, that is the fucking funniest thing in the world.
That probably was a joke.
I don't know.
That's hilarious.
You just don't know.
But I wish we would have. We talked about it even earlier, and we said about like, oh, we should record these in case we even said it. Like,
I know.
Remember, like at the beginning, we were like, oh, we should start screenshot these. Shit. And I can't believe that we just kind of slept on that.
Yeah, and I looked a little bit into the Wayback Machine today. Maybe we can get Red to help us with that, because I got lost in it. So, but if we can somehow grab that page, I'll repost them. I would just repost them if we can get them. And that's the thing. And that was like my one resistance that I think we could make. If
Well, they'd probably make good
If 2 to
t-shirts.
5,000 of us repost that original Dan Brazilian ad, they can't take us all down. They can't. And so, I'm
Get some stickers made.
Huh?
Get some stickers made.
Oh, yeah, just get it made as a sticker. I take that post
Well,
and
we
make
won't
a sticker.
know.
We'll put it
Hopefully here in the next week or so, we'll get some kind of scoop from this. I'm sure they're going to have to put something else out on that new page and like probably have to give some kind of explanation. I would hope.
Well,
would be breaking
I hope
news.
they will, but they'll give it in the form of one of their news reports,
Yeah.
and that's why I said I actually have already made a spoof. I made a spoof Dan Brazilian or social media giant caves to below average height millionaire, type of fake news story for it, and then it erased. I had like 4 paragraphs in it. I had the headline, but the rest of the thing, I was really pissed. I totally did it as our news crew visited the Instagram campus and blah 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 and just but anyway, we got it. I think so. I hope something happens.
Hopefully before
I
Christmas.
hope something as a group we should all like stand by the Boro News for doing what they're doing because it's totally humorous site. I know people took offense, and everybody that took offense to it only brought more fire down on themselves, and you got yourself to blame from that. You could have all just been like, I'm not acknowledging this. But when you acknowledge it like that, again, it was just a comedy site, and you totally, if anybody got offended, you gave them fuel, and that's on you. And
you should have took it as like a grain of salt.
Totally. Yeah,
you're being roasted.
Again, it's like a thing about a roast is it's actually like an example of your success. Like you've made it. We're fucking gonna make fun of you because you're so successful. If you were just a fucking nobody, that
nobody gives a shit.
Borders would have been writing an article on you.
They would have wrote it about us.
And everybody, achieved. Yeah, exactly. So you that's the thing about the Boro News is that it is like the Onion. It's not toxic sludge. And again, I keep using that phrase specifically because that's something that somebody I really respect kind of attributed it to the Boro News, and I just don't think it is. I mean, I feel like I know a lot of those people that were sent up on that page, and it's just funny shit.
Yeah, quite a few of them, decent,
real well, and
they're funny. And
they're funny. It's like I
said, we go back. Some of them were really puff pieces, and then some of them were like a little diggy. They were digging.
And the puff pieces though are funny too. They're funny too because I'll still like even the Nady one. I mean, like just making a point to say what a nice guy is kind of like funny. It's like have a little edge to you, buddy. I mean, so anyway,
On another note, we'll have an episode coming up. We don't know when. We have to get ready for it, but I ordered the hot nut challenge for it.
Death nut.
There we go.
Not hot nut. Death nut.
Hot nuts. No, it's going to be death nuts.
Well, that's the challenge is the death nut. We're going to be, I think we're going to bring in.
It. We'll have it on here shortly. Hopefully, maybe next week. We have to find somebody to be our guinea pig.
Yeah, we'll find somebody. I
don't know. We were talking about getting just our buddy Dunlap.
Yeah, might bring in Todd Dunlap.
We need somebody that can handle it because they're supposed to go up to like 13 million Scovilles.
Yeah, sounds terrible to me, of course. But
some videos online.
Yeah.
Some of these people were crying and throwing up and talking about going to the hospital. Which I went to the hospital yesterday, got a blood test. I don't got Lyme disease. That's a plus note. I can't wait for my wife to come home so I can talk shit to her.
Yeah.
She told me I had it. She didn't know though.
Totally. I didn't know. I'm not going to say anything.
Well, anyway, we're going to probably think about getting out of here.
Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up. I think that was actually
one more
fantastic
time,
episode. Let us know in the mailbag if you enjoyed this episode of Breaking Glass. And we're dying to read a question. I mean, I almost feel like the next giveaway is going to have to be a mailbag question.
Yeah.
Just get some people.
Well, the last time we did, we got a bunch of questions.
Yeah, last time we did that, we did get some questions. So
any way to get people off their asses, give them something.
Totally. So, again,
check us out on Instagram, website, and Facebook. BreakingGlass.show. Until next week. Cheers.
Until next week. Cheers.
Thank you.